Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Qur'an Girl. It's been a really long time. I am still busy with my Tajweed classes, and I've been doing tafsir classes, and I am a Bayana Access student as well, which is very exciting, keeping me very busy. And I find that I can study well for exams, but retaining the information thereafter is incredibly difficult. And what really helps me, whether it's Hifz or Tajweed rules or Bayana, is the review, is a constant review. So what I find really cool is I'll go back to my own videos that I recorded to help myself study, and I'll review those, and those really help me. So it's been like over a year that I haven't recorded, and so there's all this information, and alhamdulillah, in this level that I'm at, it's kind of going slow. There's a lot of review though, and a lot of the application of what we've learned, so that's kind of helping. And that's the same thing that's happening in Bayana as well. And now what's cool is in Access 3, it's kind of overlapping with some of what we've learned in Tajweed, so it's very exciting because it's really exciting when these different aspects of learning Quran come together. So that's really cool. So what I wanted to do is start with a review of Mudood, and I will be looking at my notes as we go back and forth, because as usual I am studying for an exam that I have tomorrow, and it's pretty much cumulative, and there's a lot of other stuff too, so I'll try and get in more than one recording if I can today to catch up with everything. But I wanted to start with the review because Mudood is one of those really heavy chapters that has just so much information, and it's just like filled. So getting a good grasp on Mudood, and for me when I recite as well, I would say that my hardest part of all of Tajweed is actually remembering the Mudood and how long to stretch each thing. So I've had to work on that quite a bit. So inshallah, hopefully this helps you. By the time I got to the end, it got really scrunched up, but I'll try and say what it says here because Mudood is just so big of a topic. So we know that Mudood are divided into two main categories, the Asli and the Far'i, and then we have Mad Tabi'i. The Asli is all pulled, lengthened twice, and Mad Tabi'i is any word like Qala, so the Qa is pulled twice, that's Mad Tabi'i. Mad Badal is, for example, Adam, the Hamza before the Mad letter, before the Alif, and that's pulled twice, Adam. And then you have Mad Iwad, where you change the ending an sound to just an a sound when you are stopping on that letter. And an example of that would be Imanan, would turn to Imana when you stop on it. Then you have Sila Sughra, which is when you have the male pronoun, the masculine pronoun, which is a third person. It has a fatha or a dhamma on it. It also has a voweled letter before or after. And let me see if I have an example for these as well. And for Mad Sila Sughra, we have, for example, Lahu ma fis samawati. So that lahu, you're going to pull twice because it's Sila Sughra, Lahu ma fis samawati. But if you had Sila Kubra, then basically after the Sila letter, you're going to have a Hamza because it falls under the category of Far'i, which is the after Hamza, which always gets pulled 4 or 5 times. For Sila Kubra, it will be 4, and it's actually considered in the 9 Mudood as part of Sila Sughra, so it's considered together, just Sila rule, even though it's split into 2, which is why I have it written like that on the board. But Sila Kubra basically is when you'll have the ha, third person, male with a fatha or dhamma with a vowel before after it, vowel letter before after it, but the letter after it is also a hamza. And for example, that would be ma lahu akhlada, right? For that one, you're going to say ma lahu akhlada because it's ending with a, it's the next word is beginning with a hamza. So that's why you're going to have it 4 times. Guess what? Since we're done with these, I'm just going to erase this so it makes us feel good. Yay, we're done with all of the Mad Asli. See how quickly we reviewed that, alhamdulillah. and that is just awesome. For me, those are the easiest ones. And Far'i, we're getting into now. Alright, so now we have Mad Far'i. Now, Mad Far'i, remember we have two different divisions. We have whether there's a Hamza following the Mad or whether we have a Sukun following the Mad. When we have Hamza following the Mad, you have Wajib Muttasil and Jaiz Munfasil. Remember, Wajib means it is mandatory, and that is generally the case because all the scholars have agreed upon it. They might not agree exactly how long to lengthen. The way that we learn in our class and the way that I review with you is always Hafsa Asim and Tariqa Shatibiya. And for that one, this is going to be Wajib Muttasil and Jaiz Munfasil will both be pulled 4 or 5 times. So what are these two? Basically, this is when the Mad is followed by a Hamza. If it's in one word, it's Wajib Muttasil. If it's between 2 words, it's called Jaiz Munfasil. Let me see if I can find you some examples of those. So an example of Jaiz Munfasil, where you have Mad followed by a Hamza in the next word, is like if you say Fi anfusikum, right? So in that case, Fi is the Mad because it has the Mad on it, Fi, and the next word starts anfusikum. So you have to pull 4 or 5 times. You have to say Fi anfusikum, right? And that's Mad Jaiz Munfasil. And Wajib Muttasil is also going to be pulled the same amount, but you find the Hamza following the Mad in the same word, like Ashita, right? The Hamza of the at the end is following so you have to pronounce it with 4 or 5 times. Mad Wajib Muttasil. Ashita, right? So that's that one, alhamdulillah. We are done with that. See how easy that was? That's 6 of the 9. All right. We're going through this review really, really, really well. And alhamdulillah, if you feel like you are stuck on any of these and you need, more time and more focus on it, please do go back and review the previous videos because these have been, we spent a lot of time on these. I believe it was like 3 recordings worth on all of this. This is meant to be a review, so that's why it's just going through it very quickly. All right. Now, we have when the sukun follows the mad, right? And we are on Far'i. So we had the mad asli, which was multiplied by 2. We know we had mad Far'i with the hamza following the mad, which was 4 or 5, right? With this one where the sukun follows, we have 3 different ones, okay? And it's possible for all 3 of these to be multiplied by 6, so 6 times lengthening. The 3 types are mad lazim. Now mad lazim will always be times 6, okay? Mad lazim is always times 6. And then we have mad arid lis-sukun and mad leen, where you can go 2, 4, or 6, all right? Now, I'll do it starting from the bottom first, because this one's the easiest. Mad leen is like in Surah Quraysh, li'ilafi Quraysh. Now, when you are doing that surah and you are stopping on all these letters, like right on all these words, right at the end of each of the verses, you can choose to pull 2, 4, or 6, because you have a lean letter and right at the end, like a, and then sh, which is the sh that you have a sukun on. So you can go li'ilafi Quraysh, or you can say li'ilafi Quraysh, or you can say li'ilafi Quraysh. You can pull it up to 6 times. Now, the key is, whatever you do in that, you have to continue throughout the surah. So, whatever you decide to do in one verse, you have to do throughout the whole surah. So if you decide on 2, you have to stick with 2. You can't change the lengthening for the other endings where there's lean. Okay? So that's lean. And out of this sukoon is pretty much the same thing, except it's with when you have a mad letter right before a sukoon and you're stopping on a letter that you make sukoon. For example, there would be loads of examples for this. Whenever you run out of breath and you want to stop on a word, or it's at the end of a sentence, wherever it is. So if you're changing, if you're saying al-alameen, okay, you can say it with lengthening of two. You can say al-alameen, lengthening with four, or you can say al-alameen with six. Again, whatever you do without a sukoon, when you are reciting in a surah, you must keep it consistent, not just throughout the surah, but if you're doing any recitation of the Qur'an and you're going from surah to surah, say in Taraweeh or in recitation in Qur'an group, you have to continue then with the same, as long as you are continuing a particular recitation. So those are those two then. And I'm doing this so that I can make space to explain the others if need be, if it's not very clear. But again, everything is found in the old videos. This is the very last one, okay? This one is called Mad Lazim. Mad Lazim is divided into 4 parts, if you remember. Remember, you have the harfi, which is a letter. Harf is a letter. And then you have the kalimi, which is in a word. So you can find mad lazim in a word or in a letter. Where do we find letters in the Quran? We find them in huruf al-muqatta'at, which are the letters that are found by themselves, like alif, lam, mim. So those are examples of letters that are found in the Quran. So you can find mad lazim in those as well. So basically, there are 4 types. So I created a little chart here, but I'm going to do it again because you can't see this at all. And so let's do it this way. All right, and let's do that and that. Hopefully that helps. So you have kalimi and you have harfi. And remember, for both of them, you can have light or heavy. Light is mukhaffaf. Mukhaffaf. Or you can have heavy, which is muthaqqal. To remember these words, I just think of, oh look, the Q's are kind of going down. Like if you were to write it on a line, the Q's would go down, so they're heavy. So that's how I remember that. So you have mukhaffaf and muthaqqal. And remember, kalimi is a word, and then harfi is a letter. All right. So let's see if I can give you some mad lazim harfi. All right. So with harfi, if you remember, with huruf al-muqatta'at, right? Let us put down huruf al-muqatta'at. We have hay, tahar. Okay, and these letters will only ever, whenever you see them in huruf al-muqatta'at, you will only pull them times 2, okay? You won't, so they're not going to be part of this because this is only a chart for mad lazim. So you know that these letters will not be part of it at all, okay? Then we said we have ayn. And with ayn, if you remember with huruf al-muqatta'at, you can pull it 2, 4, or 6, because when you say ayn, then you are making a lean sound, right? And what did we say about madleen? Madleen is one of the farai, but you can make it 2, 4, or 6. So that's what Ayn fits into. So yes, Ayn could fall into the one of these categories because we said it's 6 lengthening, but we're going to consider this a separate group altogether because that is mad lean. All right. Now, let's see. What else do we have? Oh, and then we have alif as well, which is not going to be at all lengthened because it's just alif. So there's no lengthening at all. So that one's gone. Okay? So we're going to keep these letters out. Hayd Lahar, alif, and ayn. They cannot be part of the harfi chart. All right. So a mad lazim harfi مثقل. So harfi مثقل, so heavy, and lazim, and in a letter is basically where you're going to have like for example alif lam mim. Right? And the reason for that is that you're going to have an mad followed by a shadda, right? So when you're saying for example alif lam, and then joining it with meme. There's 2 memes here, right? There's this one and there's this one, right? So what you're going to see is that it's going to, since there's 2, we can just say that it's more like one that has a shadda, right? Because when you have 2 memes, then you're going to have back to back, then you're going to pretty much have a meme with a shadda. So what's always the rule when you have a mad followed by a shadda? Remember, that's called mad lazim. So that's how this falls into the mad lazim category when we say alif lam mim. Okay? So this is an example of mad harfi, and you'll find it in the Quran written generally like something like this. That's how you'll find it. And so basically you have to have a mad, right? This is the rule, right? And this is the rule also for kalimi. You have to have a mad followed by a shadda. And in this case, you're going to also have idgham plus idgham shafawi. Remember, shafawi has to do with meme. Remember, just when you say just regular idgham, you're talking about the joining of noon, tanween sound, which is also ending in a noon. Remember, when you talk about shafawi, you're talking about the rules of a word ending with a meme and joining with another letter. So in this case, it's a meme joining with a meme. So you're having an idgham, but it's called idgham shafawi because it has to do with the 2 memes. Now, let's see if I can give you an example here of the mad lazim kalimi مثقل. Okay, let's see. And remember, مثقل are heavy, right? So you always have a mad followed by a shadda plus idgham shafawi in this case, in this example. Let me put it the other way so you can see the chart better. With the plus, so it'll be that plus idgham shafawi, and an example is alif lam mim. Okay, right. When you have it in kalimi, an example would be الحاقة. Mad followed by shadda. Alright. Now we go to مثقل. مثقل is, okay, here's something I want you to know. We said mad lazim is under the rule of where a sukoon is following the mad. So where is the sukoon in here? I see a shadda. The sukoon, if you remember, a shadda equals a letter with sukoon plus a letter with any other vowel. Always that is the rule for shadda. So whenever you see a shadda, just like when we say alif, lam, mim, right? And we joined it and we did idgham shafawi, and we said that really it's like seeing a shadda on the mim. That's because of the first mim, lam, was sukoon. The second one was kasra, mim. Always, always, for example, in al-haq, the first qaf is sukoon, qah. The second one is fatha. So that's why you'll write it like this, al-haqqa. So that's why there is a sukoon. There's always a sukoon there. It's just masked because you have two qafs next to each other, and so it is written with the shadda. Alright? So that's why it does follow under this rule where the sukoon is following. But in mad lazim kalimi mukhaffaf, you are going to have just a regular sukoon. So that's what makes it mukhaffaf, is that you don't have a shadda sukoon. You have where it's masked, you just have it relative. And this is just in one example in the Quran. It is only found in the word al. You actually see the sukoon. And al and. Alright? So this is the only example word that you find in the Holy Quran where it's actually that. So that's the only example. This you will find other examples as well. Alright? Now, if we want to look at mad harfi mukhaffaf, then an example, and basically it is, I'll write it here, mad followed by sukoon. Here I will put, hopefully you can see it. Hopefully you can see it. Okay, so it just says mad followed by shadda, which is equal to a sukoon plus a fatha dhamma or kasra after it, right? This one is mad followed by a sukoon, as in this example. Now for harfi muthaqqal, we said it was mad followed by shadda plus, you can see idgham shafawi. In mukhaffaf, you see it's mad followed by a sukoon plus, you are going to see a noon sakin followed by idgham. Alright? Plus a noon sakin followed, oopsie, followed by idgham. Okay? For example, let us see an example. We have and as while I'm looking for this example, what I wanted to tell you is also that basically the letters that apply to mad lazim harfi mukhaffaf, okay, are basically going to be naqus, sanaqussu lakum. Okay, these are the letters. Sa, na, qussu. This is just the acronym. Sanaqussu. Sanaqussu. Lakum. Lakum. Sanaqussu lakum. These are the letters for mad lazim harfi mukhaffaf, because remember we crossed out all the other letters, and so these are the ones, all right, that will apply to this category right here. This is the acronym you should remember, sanaqussu lakum. Let's see if I can find an example. Okay, I can't find it for this one. I will start the next recording with that example once I have it for you. But we've pretty much gone over probably the 20 minutes for today's review. I hope you enjoyed it, and inshallah we will be going on to new topics starting with the next video. So keep up with the recordings, and inshallah you will get really far, and inshallah may Allah make it easy for you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.